Thomas, and welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. So, Rand Paul has a replacement for Obamacare. Alright, let's hear it. Rand Paul unveils Obamacare replacement. Millennials should love it. So I have in my Twitter account, I have news feeds for all sorts of sources. Republican, Democrat, everything in between. Anarchist, socialist, the works. This is the way that a Republican, I guess, newspaper, web paper, whatever they want to call it, is trying to cut this particular story. It's hilarious. Senator Rand Paul released his comprehensive plan to replace Obamacare on Wednesday, which is oddly enough named the Obamacare Replacement Act. If Paul's plan is passed into law, it might be the relief millennials need, because they care so much about millennials. One of the key highlights to Paul's plan is repealing the individual and employer mandates, community rating restrictions, rate review, essential health benefit requirements, medical loss ratio, and other insurance mandates. For all millennials not covered by their parents' plans, Obamacare individual mandate required them to purchase insurance, either through their employer or through federal or state exchanges. Not only would the repeal of the individual mandate be a boon for millennials, but so would the repeal of the employer mandate. Alright, so let's just get this out of the way first. The reason why Republicans want to get rid of Obamacare is because it raises taxes on the rich. There are like two main taxes that are in Obamacare to help pay for it. Those taxes, for the most part, affect the upper crust. I think repealing Obamacare is going to give those guys like $7 million tax cuts. That's the basic reason of it. Now, Rand Paul, ideologically, does not believe that the government should be doing this stuff. He doesn't particularly care if people get health care or not. He doesn't believe that the government should have a place in it. Now, it's a weird way to say it, but they're essentially saying, look, we're giving you the freedom to not have health care. Aren't you happy about that? That's freedom. Wave the flag. Oh. It's the freedom of a forced choice. What I mean by that is, in a capitalistic society, your level of freedom is to some degree dependent upon the amount of capital you have. You have to pay to play. Meaning, for all the high-minded ideas of liberty and justice and everything else, if you don't have the funds, that you're still in a box. I mean, for all intents and purposes, you might as well be in a totalitarian regime. I mean, think of it this way. Yes, I have the freedom of steak, chicken, turkey, whatever. But if I can't afford it, if I'm making minimum wage or if I'm on food stamps, well, I am not getting that steak or chicken. I may be lucky to get a vegetable or something like that. Hell, I may be lucky to eat. Yes, I have the option of picking a doctor and everything else, but I can't afford my medication. Or I'm in this ridiculous situation of making the choice between my medication and my dinner. Isn't freedom great? They are literally tooting the horn that, hey, we're getting rid of the individual mandate and we're getting rid of the employer mandate. And then they're trying to make the case that, hey, the employer, because we're getting rid of the mandate and because he doesn't have to offer you health care now, he may actually hire you full time. See? Yeah. You're not getting health care, but you may get a job. Isn't that great? They fundamentally, look, jobs do not have, they're machines, man. They don't have a conscience. They're not going to hire somebody if they don't need a person. Meaning they hire people because they need them. People are an expense to a company. You cost that company money. If they don't need you, they're not going to bring you on out the kindness of their heart. Are there some situations on the margins where they may not be able to hire somebody because they can't afford the health care? There may be. Is that the majority? Hell no. I would imagine that's a tiny, tiny percentage. And at the end of the day, he is essentially saying, hey, look, it's great because, yeah, you may not have health care, but at least you have a job. I mean, dude, it's a false choice. Well, why can't I have both? To be on one side, though, this may be slightly controversial, even though I don't quite understand why. I don't understand why why healthcare is associated with the employer anyway. Why is that a burden on the company itself? I know the origin of it. Like during the war and everything else, there were certain pricing restrictions, meaning they couldn't increase wages or whatever. And so they started offering other things, healthcare being one of them. But surely that's a ridiculous model. First, it adds a cost to that particular company, meaning that particular company has to now pay for their employees' healthcare. On the second part, what if you don't have a job? I mean, look, other countries around the world that have single payer and all these other things, our companies are competing with other companies that don't have to pay for healthcare like that. Think of the auto company. Think of the amount of money, the number of people that the auto company employs. Labor is one of their biggest expenses. Part of that cost is healthcare. If the state covered healthcare, meaning if there was a tax on Wall Street speculation, if there was a tax on, hell, even if they raised taxes on the middle class a little bit, with a heavier tax going on the upper classes, they could pay for healthcare. And you could get rid of putting this burden on these companies. I really don't like that aspect of healthcare at all. So in that sense, I guess in that limited, very specific sense, I agree with Rand Paul. But we agree for very different reasons. He wants to get rid of it just because he doesn't believe the government should do it. He doesn't care if people have it. I think it doesn't go far enough. I think what we have, why are insurance companies involved in healthcare? They are adding nothing to that process. They're taking 30% off the top. They're inflating those costs. Why are they there? Like, are we so bent in this ideological frame of capitalism where we need to have a profit-making enterprise even when we don't need to have a profit-making enterprise? They take like 30% off the top. And for comparison, I think Medicare has like a 2 or 3% overhead, meaning 3% of the costs go towards administrative and employee costs, stuff like that. Everything else goes towards providing the healthcare. So get rid of the insurance companies so you can cut healthcare costs. Put a burden on the drug companies so you can cut down on the drug costs, or at the very least being able to negotiate with it. You can do it. You just can't do it if you're also trying to worship profit at the exact same time. This is absolutely absurd. You have the power of a forced choice. Yes, you can die lonely without health care now. That's freedom. That's not freedom. It's a type of freedom. And let's ask a wider question. What does freedom mean when the choices that are important are made above your head? So, sure, you could choose Coke and Pepsi. You could choose McDonald's or Burger King. But when they're negotiating the Trans-Pacific Partnership, that is going to directly affect, your water, your air. That's going to directly affect employment, law. All of these things that is going to directly affect you, that you have no say in that process at all. What does that mean in regards to freedom? How is that free of any? That is the most undemocratic process that I can think of. I mean, for that matter, you can take it even further. What does freedom mean? See, we use these words without any kind of analysis in regards to how they are practically unfolds in the society itself. And when you look at how it unfolds in the society, what tends to become plainly apparent is that if you don't have the cash, then your decision space is curtailed. So for all the talk of freedom, at the end of the day, freedom is for the top class. For instance, like it's like private property. Oh my God, private property is so awesome. 1% of the country owns like 50% of the property. What does that mean for private property when you're locked out of that process? Half of the country is in poverty. Literally, like 60% of the country didn't have, I think it was like $500 in case an emergency came up. Land of the free. How free are you when you cannot afford the things that that particular society requires? So yes, in a communist country, the state is making that choice. In a capitalist country, capital is making that choice. I hardly see how those things are different. Other than, maybe in a capitalist society, you can find a route to get that capital that maybe in a communist country you couldn't necessarily get. The case I'm making is, there are things that we can do as a society to make people's lives easier. And yeah, it may curtail your ability to choose between 20 different hospitals. But you couldn't choose between 20 different hospitals anyway because you couldn't afford it. I mean, I'm making the case that these guys touting ideas of freedom and everything else sounds great, but they just sounds great. Practically speaking, in regards to the way it affects your wallet, the way it affects your life, your ability to send your kid to school, the ability for you to get health care, to eat, to know what's in your food when you're eating it. Those are the things that consist of freedom. And if those things are purely at the whims of profit, then that is not freedom. Just because you can choose your doctor, so what? If you're going to get this massive bill that you can't afford, what does it matter that you can choose the doctor that you go to? And you can apply that to all sorts of stuff, particularly in regards to having a system where, it's absolutely gross that it's making a choice. It's like, hey, we need to cut 2 of your fingers off, but I know you can't afford both, so which one would you like to take off? But again, when profit is the motive, everything else is secondary. That's what you end up getting. This is not comprehensive health care. This is pretty much just what we had before. Upping health savings accounts. Woo! What if you don't have a job? They're getting rid of Obamacare and they don't have a replacement. And they are going to lie through their teeth talking about, oh, see, we're covering everybody. I'm skeptical. And seeing this plan doesn't make me feel any better about it. So yeah. We'll see. Alright guys. Thank you.